place, that is impossible. So they also run drills in case any other operatives get caught. They just say it's part of the drill, Kurt. I mean, really, these false flags are so obvious. So I just have trouble believing it's always a false flag. But then the evidence just keeps emerging that it is.
Well, my definition of a false flag is the event is blamed on someone other than the ones really pulling the strings. So that's my definition. There may be people dying. There may not be. It may be mostly as told or partly as told, but what we're never told is who are the people really pulling the strings. So that, to me, is the definition of false flag. But what's extra troubling to me in this plot is the tying into the underwear bomber. Because the underwear bomber case, in my opinion, was definitely a CIA plot. And this case is most likely a Mossad plot. So what we have here, to me, is a definite link between Mossad and CIA in the grooming of patsies, which tells me there's some kind of coordination going on between those two governments in the implementation of these false flag attacks, which is a very scary thought, if you ask me.
Well, what should we call this video when we post it and do an article about it tomorrow? Terror survivor? Paris, an inside job, or would you say expert Paris attack Mossad operation? I mean, I don't know if with the circumstantial evidence, it all points to false flag. It all points to the proxy cutouts. We know they were allowed to fly. We know they're being trained as the CIA handler. Why would it be a CIA handler and now it's a Mossad op, even though Israel certainly has capitalized, not letting a good crisis go to waste? I mean, I'll blame Israel in a second if they just red-handed admit it, and then Israel's declassified. You know, they blew up hotels and blamed it on the Egyptians, or blew up nightclubs and blamed it on jihadis. I mean, that's declassified. So, I mean, I'm not shying away from blaming Israel. I think now you got to look at the CIA because it's their handler that was over these guys, and it was Western governments letting these idiots fly around. I mean, I would have to say Mossad then working in concert with Western intelligence.
Could be. Could very well be. You know, I just look at the evidence and see what is the most likely outcome. I don't know 100%, and none of us do, but to me, that's the most likely outcome. So then the next question is, well, are they working in concert with the CIA government, or the CIA? Was this a joint operation? But with Obama not going to the March of the Leaders and all the other factors I mentioned, I think this is a Mossad plot, which to me means that the two governments are working hand in hand in the grooming of the patsies. Or, you know, they kind of have a kind of a pool, or, you know, a school for the training of the patsies. Well, sure, we know Camp X-Ray is a school for jihadi commanders. That's now on record. It is just totally insane, and I don't think we can safely say who's behind it. I think what you're pointing at has a lot of evidence to it, and is certainly a major suspect, if not prime suspect, just because of the motive and also some of the other staging of things that stinks to high heaven. I just know this: not one but two passports survived the fiery infernos of 9/11 and were found that day on the ground. That's pure bull. And the fact that it's been done again, I mean, does this never end, Kurt, how obvious this is? Well, the sad thing is it's only obvious to, 10 or 20% of the population. That's what's really sad. The rest are brainwashed and won't even consider what's going on when it's right before their eyes. That's what's really sad.
Well, more people are becoming aware. You were already a smart lawyer, but now you were a listener and were investigating 9/11, and then you saw it happen with the underwear bomber, and your story got proven true, came out in Congress twice, and it just shows you how much trouble we're in. In closing, we're going to go to break and come back and take a few calls from Blake and others. Kurt, I'd like to invite you back soon sometime to be a guest host when I'm out of town with some of the fill-in crew, like David Knight doing a good job with you. But in closing, in 1 minute, why did you split the U.S., and how do you like Costa Rica?
Well, I love Costa Rica. Let me tell you, it's a really great country. Why did I leave the U.S.? The reason I left the U.S. is a very simple one. I wanted to live in a free country, not where you live for free, but a country where you can have freedom. You know, I had my life very negatively affected by a false flag attack, and I ran for Congress hoping to make a change, and the people did not have enough sense to vote me in, someone that would actually represent the interests of the people against this corrupt government. So I did not want to live in a country anymore where we have such a corrupt government doing false flag attacks that hurt the people, and a majority of the people that can't see what's good for them when it's right before their eyes. So it's a combination of all those things, and this, to me, this is the best country in the world.
Well, I know there's a lot of CIA and FBI expats down there, so maybe they'll leave that as somewhat free, like Switzerland, because I've looked at Costa Rica as an emergency bug out, and I'm going to be looking a lot closer. Not that I'm going to ever leave, but I may have to get my family out or do something like that at some time, just because I'll go to a FEMA camp, but not my kids. And it's all going that way, folks, when they false flag it and blame it on the Patriots. That's what all this is a build-up to when they're done with the Muslims. Kurt Haskell, Godspeed. Give folks your website.
Well, I co-host a radio show Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern on freedomizerradio.com, and it's called The Proof Negative Show. You can listen to me there every Monday.
All right, great job. God bless you. Stay with us.
Attention now.
Week, and then it came out that they were being handled by the known CIA operative Anwar al-Awlaki, and I've got Colonel saying he works for the CIA and is protected, and I've got London Guardian articles, and I've got our government helping create this new Islamic State, and then the U.S. Army is going to have to fight it now, and the bomb makers will have more money. I mean, it's a bunch of interest. I really think you can't blame Germany or France or Israel or the U.S., just like you can't blame an average cop for a cop killing somebody in cold blood in Albuquerque. Those cops have now been indicted, by the way, as of yesterday, who famously, killed the unarmed homeless guy and celebrated his killing. And they've been indicted because one of them driving up said, "I'm going to kill this guy on video. I can't wait to kill him. And I'm going to blow his testicles off." And the other police are like, "What are you saying?" I mean, it shows mental illness, but you don't blame all the cops in the country because there's one crazy person. And it's very unhealthy to just say the U.S. is behind it, Israel's behind it. Criminal operations and special interest across the world are working together because this gives them more power and more control and lets them roll out the cybersecurity takeover. I mean, here's the new article on Infowars.com. Obama's internet protocol is CISPA with a new name. Infowars.com, Kit Daniels. Get that out to everybody. Obama proposes dragnet for America's private data. Special report, obedient D.C. Metro passengers wait for their death. Amazing video. Economist, world leaders will exploit Charlie Hebdo to eliminate encryption. Lieberman, turn outrage over Charlie Hebdo into world war against Islam. Study, average lawmaker 18 times richer than average American household. Seahawks players shill for Obamacare, a new video. Infowars.com. Ron Paul article, lessons from Paris. Legal pot turns 1-year-old in Colorado. That's some of the news on Infowars.com. Let's go to Blake in FEMA Region 9. Thank you for holding.
Hey, Jones, my brother. So it sounds like we're not, I was calling in to disagree, but it sounds like we're not in disagreement anymore. It's actually almost, it's a beautiful thing that I got on right after Haskell, because what you guys are saying is just, okay, so you guys are perfect in what you're saying, but it sounds like you have some disagreements, but you really don't. What we've got to do is we've got to focus on who's really above all these people. It's like he's saying Mossad, you're saying, it's the termites, right? It's the termites have been put into the, but you don't, okay, in Dr. No, there's a snake, right, that he puts in the bed. You remember that?
Yes.
Well, the snake fails, and Dr. No learns his lesson. You got to send a human to do the job. You don't send in the termites to do a specific operation like this. The termites are the scapegoat. So I think that's the crux of the difference that we're all having.
You're saying the Muslim radical jihad dum-dums are nothing but decoys.
Absolutely. Your gut instincts were right on when you first saw it. These guys were too good. All the mistakes they made were planned mistakes, just like Haskell was saying about the telephone call that, he leaves the phone off the hook. Those are planned mistakes. What they actually did was perfect operation. So those guys were not You know, they weren't the Black Widows in the bed. The Black Widows have a purpose, but they don't use them for that kind of a purpose. When they want a specific operation done right, is you don't know what they'll do when you put the Black Widows in the bed. Or the snake in the
Well,
bed.
I mean, it's a false flag now. Lockheed's behind it. I mean, they let them fly all over the place. The woman escaped back to Jihadville, Syria. It's all staged. It was staged again. Yeah, listeners are right. We'll be back. I'm going to come back in overdrive.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with super male or super female vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.